This week, all eyes are on Alex Pereira and whether or not he can get the title belt back from Magomed Ankalaev. And it's a real question. We heard him this week saying he was 40%. I knew he wasn't 100%. Now, 40%, I don't know. But he definitely wasn't 100%. And to me, that's what matters. So it's like a redo. Can he get the belt back? I'm highly interested. Stay tuned for the prediction and much, much more, as well as other predictions. Next.
Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is the TCMMA Podcast with your host, Chris Cross.
Whoa!
Dana White privilege.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, baby!
Dana White privilege. Privilege.
This Saturday night, UFC 320. Looking forward to it. This is your boy Chris Cross. This is the TCMMA Podcast. And it's going down at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Where else would you want to have this big-time fight between Ankalaev and Pereira? The rematch, right? I mean, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Also, the top of the ticket, co-main event, Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen, right? Bantamweight title fight. That's going to be phenomenal. So you got two title fights on tap in the main event. And I'm so glad that this thing is in America. So glad. Now, it won't matter in the main event, but in the co-main, crowd's going to probably be behind Corey Sandhagen. That's a tough fight, to say the least, but it's exciting to watch, right? I mean, Merab has basically cleared out the division. Sandhagen is the best bet, but does he really have a chance to beat Merab? We're going to get into that during the rest of the show. And there's going to be a lot of talking about these two title fights coming into the week. Was Alex Pereira 100% last time? I say no. He said 40%. I say more like, who knows, 70 or 80%. But when you're not 100% and you're 38 years old, it's not going to go well. Maybe he was 37 at the time. I don't know. But he's 38 right now. So that's going to be the talk, right? If he's 100%, he's got a good opportunity as anybody to get the title. Sandhagen, on the other hand, long road against Merab. Just too dominant right now as a champion, but anything is possible. You got Yuri and Khalil Roundtree, Josh Emmett, Yusuf Zalal. I mean, this card is absolutely loaded at the top. Abu Magomedov and Joe Piper, they'll kick things off in the middleweight division in the pay-per-view main card. 5-fight main card, and they'll kick it off. So as you go out throughout the week, you're going to hear a lot of talk about these fights, right? With Josh Emmett and Zalal on a roll right now. Can Josh Emmett rebound or respond? Yuri's going to have a very tough time with Khalil Roundtree, who has shown durability back in that title fight situation, right? Now he's 2 fights out for now a rough fight against Pereira. Yuri's looking strong lately, but can he come in and beat Khalil, who's tough to take down? I mean, he's a tough guy to take out. And Abu and Joe Piper, I mean, that's just, forget about it. So your main card is absolutely loaded this week at UFC 320, and we're here to get into it. We're here to get to the predictions, that's for sure. You have asked, and we have delivered. The TCMMA merch shop is now live, and we got a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, summer is just ending. We're rolling into winter very quickly. So we still got t-shirts and hats up, right? We got hoodies rolling out. We got your toboggans, or whatever you want to call them, rolling out as well. Sweatpants, all these type of things. But the bottom line is, for several years, you have said, Chris Cross, when are you going to roll out the merch shop? And the merch shop is finally here. So it's time to get it, right? You can't ask, and then when I deliver, not get any merch. So that's what it's time to do. And you see here, there's all different types of products. I mean, you got coffee mugs, hats, you can change colors of t-shirts and any other products that you want. And look, we still got crop tops. So that means that the summer is still here. It's still with us. We got another 2 months before it really gets cold, but we are rolling out all the winter gear as well. So we're right in the middle right now, and you got multiple colors to choose from. So get on to the merch shop. You can click the link in the description of any video and get you some gear. And guess what? All the proceeds really just go to help us continue building this channel. So help us out and get some merch. Today we're going to get into the final 4 fight picks, but before we do that, let's talk about the rest of this card. In the prelims, Atiba Gautier versus Ozzy Diaz. That's a middleweight fight. Another middleweight fight that I like is Edmund Shabazian and Muniz. I mean, that's 15-5, 24-7. USA versus Brazil. Don't invite Brazil to the party. Bantamweight, Chris Gutierrez versus Farid Basharat. Forget about it. And then featherweight, Daniel Santos versus Josang Yu, who is 9-0. So 13-2 Brazilian versus 9-0 Korean. Oh my goodness, take my money, right? Take my money. Women's bantamweight division. Now we're getting into the early prelims. Macy Chiasson versus Yana Santos. Patchy Mix versus a newcomer Wiglax. We just did that prediction today, and a tough Punahele Soriano on a roll right now against Nikolai Varetnikov. Then you still got 2 other fights. I mean, there's 5 fights in the prelims, so early prelims. It seems like when we get to the final fights, though, or when we get to fight day, especially Friday before Saturday, seems like we lose a couple fights. So the UFC's loaded up and ready to go. If that does happen and they lose 2, it's still back to a normal pay-per-view setting. But right now, you got 14 fights on this card. So let's jump into it. In fight 4, Josh Emmett, Yusuf Zalal. Oh my goodness. This is going to be a tough prediction. And one guy is heating up, the other guy's getting older. So how are we going to lean in this one? Let's get into it right now. In the featherweight division at UFC 320, you got a big one here. Josh Emmett takes on Yusuf Zalal. USA versus Morocco. Emmett 19-5, Zalal 17-5. So you can tell by the records both these guys are used to winning. Now Zalal 4 inches taller, 5'10". That's a big difference. He's only 29. He's right in the prime. Emmett 40 years old. So is Emmett slowing down? That's going to be a big question going into this fight. I mean, he's at that age now. Zalal 72-inch reach. He's got a 2-inch reach advantage there. He's a switch stance fighter, always an advantage. Emmett fights right-handed. Emmett lands 3.8 significant strikes per minute. Zalal lands 2 takedowns every 3 rounds. Emmett 1. So they can both go to the ground as well. But what we know is that Emmett has a lot of power, but just a 46% takedown defense. So, you know, the age and the fact he cannot defend takedowns already, that stands out. He lost to Lerone Murphy, okay, by decision. He had 4 takedowns to none. That's impressive. But trailed by 43 significant strikes. Beat Bryce Mitchell with that big first round KO. Lost to Topuria, lost to Yair. This is over the last 3 years when he's like, 36, 37, now at 40 years old. So we really don't know. I mean, he's faced, 3 of the best fighters in the world. Before that, you're going back to 36, 37. That's not 40. Beat Calvin Kattar, Dan Ige, Shane Burgos, Mirsad Bektik, and the list goes on and on. So that's a tough prediction just because he's in the fight. Zalal, 60% takedown defense. Not great. And you saw that Emmett was able to take down Lerone Murphy. Zalal beat Calvin Kattar by decision. Submitted Jack Shore. Submitted Jarno Aarons. Beat Billy Q. Quarantillo by submission. So, you have a crossroads fight. You have a guy in Emmett that's starting to get older, can't defend takedowns too well, but can land takedowns. He's only been in there against the best over the last 3 or 4 years. So it's hard to look back 4 years ago, knowing what we saw in Josh Emmett, and now you're 4 years later at 40. But at the same time, Zalal's beaten people, but hasn't fought at the level of Emmett. So we really don't know, right? And you got to go back to 2021 since the law last lost. Now, I believe in the power of Josh Emmett, but I also believe in the youth of Zalal. And, I don't like to take down defense. I don't like the weak strike game, but the guy is a proven winner. He's been winning. This is one of those fights for him, but it's not an Ilia Topuria like Josh Emmett fought. It's not a huge name. Josh Emmett is good, but he's fading. And this is the time for Zalal to catch him. This could be a big win for him. I think he gets the job done, in my opinion, and move to 18-5 here, likely by decision because Emmett's that good. Featherweight division, UFC 320. No question that Josh Emmett is going to be a tough out in this fight. That's why I think it goes to a decision. At the end of the day, I mean, if Zalal finishes him, we're not going to be unhappy. A win is a win is a win. But I just feel like Josh Emmett is good enough to take this to a decision, and Zalal is going to have to prove that he can get the finish here against a high level name. Even though he's getting older, Josh Emmett has proven to still be very, very tough. Now in the next one, oh my goodness, things will heat up here in fight 3. Light heavyweight division, Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree. And man, is this going to be a great fight to watch because I know Khalil Roundtree is tough as nails. Yuri seems to be getting back to his old form now at 31-5. So let's dive into this one right now. In the light heavyweight division at UFC at 320, you got Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree. Wow, big crossroads fight. I'm game for this one, for sure. Prochazka 31-5 from Czechia, if I'm saying that right. Roundtree from America 15-6. Prochazka 2 inches taller is 6'3". He's 32. Roundtree 35. Look, but he's tough. Yuri 3-inch reach advantage. He fights right-handed. Khalil fights left-handed. 5.7 significant strikes per minute for Yuri. 3.8 for Khalil, but Khalil has shown he can take a punch for sure. Now Yuri. So it seems like we're going to be getting a stand-up striker affair, which is great. Yuri beat Jamal Hill by KO, lost to Pereira by KO, beat Rakic by KO, lost to Pereira by KO, sub Glover Teixeira, which is crazy, beat Dominic Reyes by spinning back elbow KO. This is when he was at his height, really. Oez Demir back in 2020 KO'd him. So he still won 5 of the last 7. Tough prediction. Khalil beat Jamal Hill by decision, but dominated him. Lost to Pereira by KO, but not to the 4th round. Okay, that's critical. And then you get KO'd by Pereira in a fight, and people are like, how's he going to come back from that? He beat Jamal Hill. Beat Anthony Smith by KO. Chris Dawkins, KO. So you don't hear the same level of names as you do for Yuri. But I'm here to tell you this is a close fight, and I'm darn near close to taking Khalil Roundtree. If I didn't like Yuri so much, I'm still believing him to get this win. And coming back against Jamal Hill and getting the KO late in the 3rd round. He led 97-81 at that point. So tough prediction, but I got to go with Yuri here. I just don't know if he's going to get the finish because Khalil's so tough, and it's a 3-round fight. I think it does probably go to a decision, but I think Yuri's going to outpace him. Just like the averages support, 5.7 versus 3.8. So you're looking at about 25 significant strikes in this fight. So you're looking at 80 to 55, something like that. So can Khalil Roundtree improve that average in this fight and go off and keep pace with Yuri, or maybe get the KO? It's possible, but I like Yuri to win this fight. In my opinion, it'll be the 32-5 light heavyweight division, UFC 320. Khalil Roundtree is a dog, but I cannot go against Yuri. Maybe I pay for this one, we'll see, but I just cannot go against Yuri in this situation. Even though the crowd's probably going to be chanting USA, Roundtree Jr. needs a big win. Yuri would be perfect, but Yuri's the favorite for a reason because I think a lot of people know in the back of their minds he is the better fighter. We just know that Khalil is very tough. Now, as you get into the co-main, Merab versus Corey Sandhagen. Just the next guy in line, right? Merab's still a 4-1 favorite. He's appears to be, right, the better fighter, but when you give a guy an opportunity like Corey Sandhagen, he knows there's not going to be too many more. This is the one you got to get. And this is like that big game where one team is overlooking the other, but boy, Merab is good. I don't know here. This is a very, very tough fight to predict because I think Corey Sandhagen is going to bring his A game and the crowd is going to be behind him. So let's get into this prediction right now. In the bantamweight division for the bantamweight division title, your co-main event at UFC 320, you got Merab Dvalishvili, the champ, taking on the challenger, Corey Sandhagen. Will this be a great fight? We'll see. Merab, 20-4 from Georgia. Sandhagen, 18-5 from America. He's a 3-1 underdog. He's 5 inches taller at 5'11". He's 33. Merab, 34. Both guys late in that prime window, but still certainly in the prime. Sandhagen, 2-inch reach advantage. He's a switch stance fighter. Always an advantage. Merab fights right-handed. Now, the advantage for Corey is that he's more active on the feet, right? 5.1 significant strikes per minute to 4.3 for Merab. But Merab is very active on the ground. 2 takedowns on average per round compared to just 1 every 3 for Sandhagen. That's going to be a big problem for Corey Sandhagen, who's got like a 63% takedown defense. Not great. Now, Merab beat Sean O'Malley to defend the belt. Beat Umar Nurmagomedov to defend the belt, right? Won the belt against Sean O'Malley the first time. Both fights were similar. He outstruck O'Malley and had 11 takedowns to none. 6 in one fight, 5 in the other. Against Umar, 7 takedowns to 2. Against Cejudo, 5 takedowns to 1. Very big problem. And I go right to one fight that I remember off top. And even though it was back in 2020, and that is a while ago, it's 5 years ago, Sterling went in there and subbed him quick in like a minute and a half. But after that, he beat Marlon Moraes, Frankie Edgar to get back in the win column, right? Then lost to TJ Dillashaw. Somehow got a title fight after the loss, which is rare. He lost to Piotr Jan. All right, so that's where he's at. Then won 3 fights, lost 1 against Umar, who lost to Merab, and beat Davis and Figueiredo by second round KO. That's the layout. But this one's real simple. Merab is going to dominate this fight. It shows you that the bantamweight division doesn't have a lot of challengers right now. If Corey Sandhagen's getting subbed by Sterling, he's getting beat by Piotr Jan, who at that time was really at his height, it seemed like. Not to say he's not still good, but, so you can make the case there. He's a striker. If you can keep the fight on the feet, he's got a chance. But Sandhagen has not shown that he can defend the takedowns well. And Merab, 18 takedowns in the last 3 fights? So forget about it. He's going to dominate Sandhagen on the ground, but can he get the finish? That's going to be the key. But he's going to wear Sandhagen down, no doubt about it. In my opinion, Merab wins this fight to be the 21-4. I'm just really curious if he gets the finish or not. It's that simple. Bantamweight division for the title at UFC 320. Merab has separated himself as a clear-cut champion. No one is near him in the division, and you would think he's just going to go in there and win the fight. I mean, if Corey Sandhagen wins, I think even the American crowd chant USA is going to be surprised, and then the place will go crazy. But I just don't see that happening. I just can't see that happening. Merab is too tough right now. That's for sure. Don't invite Brazil to the party. For years, you've heard me say this expression, whether it be live, when we're doing play-by-play, or when we say it on the podcast, it all means the same thing. If you're having a fight in another part of the world, London, Perth, I don't care if it's China, Russia, wherever you have the UFC, don't invite Brazil to the party because they're going to spoil the party. Well, guess what? The merch is finally here. You can get you some Brazil merch. Don't invite Brazil to the party. And if you're Brazilian, this gear is definitely for you. But if you're not, and you're just a fan of MMA, hey, you know the deal. You can look up and down any fight card and you see Brazilian fighters up and down the fight card, and I swear about 7 to 8 times out of 10, they find ways to win. Now we got gear of all types. We got hoodies, we got shirts, we got crop tops, we got hats, toboggans, anything you need, we got it there for you. And you can see that you can change colors if you want shirts in different colors, right? With the same design, those options are all available to you in multiple different ways. So make sure you get on the merch shop, right? Click the link in the description of any video and get you some gear. That's what it is. Brazil, stand up. All right, next up is your main event. I mean, this is it. Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. Of course, Ankalaev name is coming first in this one because he's a champ. So it's really Ankalaev versus Pereira 2. And as I've stated in the lead up to this fight several times, Pereira was not 100% going into the last fight. How much of a big deal is that? Well, we got to get into the fight prediction to be sure. Here we go, right now.
In the light heavyweight division for the light heavyweight division title. And your main event at UFC 320, we get the rematch, Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira. Will the rematch be any different than the first fight? That's what we're here to discuss. Ankalaev 21-1 from Russia. Pereira, as you know, 12-3, former champ from Brazil, two-time champ, middleweight and light heavyweight division. Pereira is 1 inch taller at 6'4". He's 38. Ankalaev 33. Pereira 4-inch reach advantage. Both guys stand right-handed. Pereira 5 significant strikes per minute to 3.6 for Ankalaev. And Ankalaev gets like a takedown every 4 rounds. So Ankalaev also 87% takedown defense. Pereira 78. They both got great takedown defense. So how did the first fight play out? Well, Ankalaev had 94 significant strikes to 76 for Pereira. So Pereira lands 5 per minute, right? There's 25 minutes in the fight. He should be at 125 and win the fight. Ankalaev was right at his normal average. But instead, he's way under. He's at 3 significant strikes per minute instead of 5 per minute. So Pereira comes out of the fight and says, hey, I wasn't really 100%, more or less. So that sets up the rematch. And rematches are great because all the other fights don't really matter. The bottom line is Ankalaev outstruck Pereira by 18. If Pereira comes back and looks like his old self, he should win this fight. He should outstrike Ankalaev like 125 to roughly 100. And again, Ankalaev had his normal pace. Pereira looked sluggish, did not look great in that fight. And I'm willing to bank on the fact that Pereira is going to come back aggressive. He's now the contender. He wants his belt back, and I believe he's going to get his belt back in this fight. I'd love to see him finish Ankalaev. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I know Pereira will be much better. He didn't look the same as he did in the Yuri Prochazka fight, Jamal Hill, right? Jan Blachowicz, I mean, in the Jan fight, it was a split decision though, right? But he had 4 straight KOs after that. And you remember in 2024, UFC 300, 303, 307. So, 3 fights in like a 6 to 7 month period defending the title, and he KO'd all 3. So, then you come back early in 2025 again from October to March. Eventually, the guy is going to wear out. All right, so now he gets the opportunity to come back and get this belt, and I think he's going to do it. It's as simple as that. I think Alex Pereira wins this fight. I just don't know if it's going to be by finish or decision. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. He's not done yet. He's 38. He's slowing down. Time is against him, but he'll win this fight. In my opinion, it'll be the 13-3 light heavyweight division for the title at UFC 320.
Yeah, so we got Alex Pereira getting the belt back. And what I want to happen is him to get the belt back. I want Khamzat Chimaev to win against Amavov. And then I want to see them fight at UFC White House. Dana White, please save a spot for Khamzat Chimaev versus Alex Pereira. And we got a lot of time before that event. But save a spot for that. That's the fight to see, make no mistake about it. But listen, this Saturday night, UFC 320 is coming. This is your boy Chris Cross. Hope you have a great day and God bless. As always, peace.